What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunched Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Terence Bud Crawford. Terence Bud Crawford states, I actually know I'm number one pound for pound. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The three-division crown holder Terence Crawford has been considered one of the top pound for pound fighters in the world for the better part of the last decade, which is true. The mythical rankings have shifted in recent years when you consider Canelo Alvarez crusade across three weight classes in most recent fall, as well as Naoya Inouye's accent pulverizing opponents in the lower weight divisions. Errol Spence Jr. has also made a case for himself as the sports elite with a string of impressive wins against credible counterparts, as has Alexander Usyk after being an undisputed cruiserweight king and by beating Anthony Joshua for the heavyweight titles. The popular consensus among most pundits is that any of the mentioned fighters could be strongly considered number one pound for pound spot. The likes of Jermell Charlo, Dimitri Bivol, Shakur Stevenson, Roman Gonzalez, Artur Beterbiev, Gervonta Tank Davis, and Vasyl Lomachenko are looking to crack their way into the top mix. Okay, and the pound for pound list by boxing manager and editor Cliff rolled with the input of the publication's writers feature Inoue in the top spot, followed by Usyk, Spence, Crawford, and Alvarez. He said, if you ask the WBO welterweight champion Crawford, there is no debate who sits in the pole position for the pound for pound list. He said, I know I am, no ifs, ands, or buts. For years in my eyes, if you ask any diehard boxing fan, they'll say Terence Crawford, number one. Crawford told Showtime Boxing Podcast that Inoue has looked good in his fights. Canelo looked good in his fights, except the last one. We all look good in our fights, but for them not to give me my just due, it just puts a little fire on the flame for the next fight. I need to prove and show the world that I'm really number one when I say I'm number one. I wouldn't say it's a big ego. I would say it's confidence. Everything that I have done thus far has shown that. Stopping everybody in the welterweight division, never having a close fight, dominating every opponent that I ever faced. I think that's showing that I'm number one. I'm moving up weight divisions and conquering them one after another. I feel like that goes hand in hand with being number one pound for pound. Let me counterpunch. Do I think Terence Crawford's number one? Yes, I think he's number one. But then when you start talking about pound for pound and someone says, no, it's actually Canelo. Well, I can argue why it's not Canelo. Or people might say Usyk, and I can argue why it's not Usyk. But in between Terence Crawford and Alexander Usyk, I say those are the two that intertwine. Just like in yesteryear, it used to be Crawford and Vasyl Lomachenko. But of course, Vasyl Lomachenko is not there no more because he lost to Teofimo Lopez. Okay, so he has two losses. Terence Crawford has always remained the same, and he continues stopping opponents, regardless if he was the smaller man or not. Okay, so from 135 to 140, from 140 to 147. He's fought these guys, but he's beat these guys in fascinating, dominating way, okay? The way that he's doing it, it just validates he is. He's never lost, which that doesn't really matter, but he keeps winning. So currently, he's never been defeated, okay? And everyone that he's fought at this new weight class, at his latest current weight class, he's stopped or made quit with Khan, which is still a TKO. So basically, he stopped. So he's either made them stop or they stopped or they got stopped, right? And you look at Canelo. Well, for the people that believe Canelo is, I mean, he just lost to Dimitri Bivol. And I don't want to care. I don't care if it's another weight class or the guy was too big or this, that, and the other. It doesn't matter. He lost. Okay, because just because you're the smaller guy, Terence Crawford has already proven just because you're the smaller guy doesn't mean, you know, you can lose and then you get an honorary, effort for trying. No, you have to still beat him. That doesn't mean that you still remain on a certain elite level. No, because there was a guy, big or smaller, still defeated you. Okay. Now, Alexander Usyk, because they're all undisputed champions. Usyk, Crawford, Canelo, all are undisputed. Okay, so that puts them all in this even playing field. But which one has done more? So people now say, hey, it's Usyk, not Crawford. But then is Crawford's like, okay, what else do I have to do to show that I'm number one? And I like the attitude. I like the attitude for him saying, no, I got to do more work to continue to show. Bars. Because it's not about what you've done. It's about what you continue to do while you're in the sport, while you're at the elite level. Okay, we can talk about what you've done. That's wonderful, but you cannot get ahead on yesterday's accomplishments. You got to keep on pushing. You got to keep showing. You got to keep explaining to people like, this is why I'm the best. This is why they're calling me the best. Look, I've stand the test of time. It was me and Vasyl Lomachenko. Vasyl Lomachenko's not there no more, but I'm still there. I still remain the same, and I still keep stopping opponents. And he stopped Sean Porter, and Sean Porter is a guy that's never been stopped. Okay, so that's one of, along with a lot of guys, Jeff Horn, Jose Benavidez, who else? Mean Machine's never been stopped. He was undefeated too. So he's taken a lot of people's O's. I can go down the list. Ndongo, Gamboa, all these guys were even Diaz, right? He was the golden Olympian from DR, or was he silver? One of those. He got that O snatched from him too by the hands of Terence Bud Crawford. Okay, so at least he's not saying this. Hey, I'm the best, so I don't have to fight anybody else. That's bullshit. Why? Because you're just saying, hey, I've done all I can do, so you can crown me this Billy Badass, and I don't have to do anything more to explain it or to demonstrate that I'm the best. But you have to. That's what I love about Terence Bud Crawford. But nonetheless, if you don't have Terence Crawford, number one or number two, something is wrong with you. Bars. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Terence Crawford saying that he is the best. Of course, please subscribe, and you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.